Good afternoon and welcome to a special episode of Up and Running Pod. Today we're having an Up and Running Pod short. My name's Turkey, your host today, and we are with Mason Hare, a huge 49ers fan, and we just wanted to pick his brain and get a little insight from him. How you doing today, Mason?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing okay. Really excited about the game. I'm sure you are. What do you think about the chances of the 49ers winning tonight?
I think it's a high chance because we're at home and we have all of our players have had a rest week and a couple weeks actually because none of them played in the game against the Rams. But yeah, we just all had a rest week, so I think we'll be fine.
Okay, all right. What do you think about the weather this week? It's going to rain. It's going to be windy. 21-mile-an-hour gust. And the last time that Brock Purdy played in the gust, he had 125 yards, went 12 of 24, and the weather just doesn't seem to do him well. What do you think about the weather and affecting him? Is that going to mean that Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel get the ball more often? What do you think is going to happen there?
I mean, it all depends on how rainy it is. It depends because if it's pouring down rain, yes, it will affect him a lot. It'll also affect the receivers because like the gloves will be slippery and the ball will be slippery as well. And the wind doesn't help at all. Especially if it's going against us. If it's going against us, he'll have to throw it farther, but it'll take him a minute to get used to it. And I just think it could affect him depending on how bad the rain is, and it could affect everybody on the field, not just him.
Right. So speaking of offense, who is your favorite player on offense? Obviously, we see the Christian McCaffrey jersey, so I'm gonna go that route. But who do you think is the outside of McCaffrey? Because everybody knows he's the best, but outside of McCaffrey, who is can make a difference in tonight's game by having a great game versus just a regular game there? Who is someone you're looking to have a great game tonight?
I think Debo. I think Debo will get the ball a lot. Debo or Kittle, because I think if it's rainy and Kittle doesn't run like the longer routes, I think Debo should, and he'll run like mid-length routes. He'll get the ball a lot if we're not running the ball. But all depends on how the game goes, how we start, how we finish.
Right. So speaking of that, like you brought the weather up. Good point there. If you're running the short routes, the five and ins, 10 and outs, things like that, the hooks, the curls. Do you think it's going to be a whole lot of play action today with Christian McCaffrey? Do you think he's going to? Because that's one thing LaFleur stayed in on with Dallas. Coming off of that big win in Dallas, they shut down the offense for most of the first three quarters. They're going to try and shut down McCaffrey, and then we going to throwing the ball immediately, or we bring Debo in and run like a twin set with the running backs.
Um, I think they will. I think what would happen if they shut down McCaffrey is we won't panic. I don't think we'll panic. I think we'll just take a timeout is what I would do. Take a timeout and just let them think and just don't pass. Like I would start after that passing a lot and then just catch them when they're not running a very blitz play and run the ball with McCaffrey.
Speaking of Green Bay and the momentum, like I spoke in the last question, beating Dallas, do you think it's a good chance that momentum carries over and they give you a real big game?
I think um they played great, but Dallas didn't play their best either. Their defense was not their defense was not like it was in the regular season. Um, Dak threw two pick sixes. That did not help them at all. If we just keep the picks out and our defense is strong, we'll come out on top.
Okay, all right. Now we talked a little bit about San Francisco's offense and what they're going to have to do in this rain and wind. Let's move over to the other side of the ball. So the defensive side of the ball, do you have somebody that you're looking for? We know Bosa's on the end there; he's going to terrorize things. But who's another player that we look for tonight to have a big game?
Fred Warner, if they're passing the ball, not just running the total game, Fred Warner will. I'm sure he'll have a big game. Maybe a pick or two. Um, Probably some good coverage from him. That'll be exciting to see.
Now, that's a good prediction there with Fred Warner. But this Green Bay Packers offense hung 48 on Dallas on one of the prime defenses in the country. Now we know that San Francisco obliterated Dallas and Baltimore, to be honest, or excuse me, Dallas and Philly. Baltimore handled them. What do you think worries you the most or concerns you about Jordan Love's offense?
Their passing game. It depends. Like if they're running the short routes, Fred Warner's got them. If they're not, I mean, I'm kind of worried about how our coverage will go.
Okay,
It all
all right. So
depends
the deep
on.
game's gonna worry you a little bit. Well, hopefully the rain and wind will take care of that.
Yeah.
Now we've talked about you've mentioned that San Francisco has a good chance to win tonight. You think they're going to take the W. ESPN has them at 80%. Just two things from Jordan Love right now. He's 21-1 in eight games, touchdown interception in the last 8 games, 32 points in the last 4 games, what they're averaging. If Green Bay pulls off the upset, where are your thoughts going to be? What do you think
What
would be
happened?
the reason that y'all would lose?
What happened? Like I don't know. I just feel like it would be. I think it would be our offense if because of the weather, but I think if it affects both teams, we'll be fine.
Okay, all right. So you just think the offense would be the one that would shut down, that would kind of leave you hanging there. Okay. And then so for tonight, what do you think for a final score? What are you predicting for the score there?
34 to 31 to 28 actually. So I think San Francisco will be 31-34 and 21 to 28 for Packers.
Okay. All right, you heard it here, folks. That's 34 to 21 or 28, San Francisco. Now this isn't this week. A couple weeks ago, you had the exciting trip to go to DC and see your 49ers play against Washington. Can you give us a how was that? What do you think about that? How was that?
It was a great experience. It was also very fun to see my team win. And uh, the one play that got all 49ers fans of that game was when he picked the ball and they didn't call him down until after he scored the pick six. And that got like all for it was so much boo. It was like boo to the ref for like a whole 30 seconds. But overall, it was a good experience. It was fun. We got there early, got great parking, so we didn't have to walk a couple miles to get there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but it was great.
And you met some interesting characters in the tailgate.
Yes, there was this guy. He had two belts, bunch of 49ers gear, chains, and everything. And he let me take a picture with him while I was holding one of the belts.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So if you could go back, was there anything you didn't get to do, or what was your favorite part that while you were there?
I feel like I got to do it all except don't. I'd like to be a little closer. Like that'd be fun. Like to be closer to see him up close. But our seats were great.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. So you got to experience the game this year, and hopefully they're on the run to the Super Bowl. Um, Appreciate your time today. Had a good time. Mason's prediction: 34 to 28 or 21. We will have you on if they win next week. We'll get your reaction. Either way, I think we'll get your reaction. Have another short preview of the game. Get your feelings on who's playing in the NFC Championship game. Well, you have a good evening. Good luck to your 49ers tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.